Hello, and welcome to The Heart of Business, the series that I have that helps you to get to know people who are working to have their own business and bring a little more authenticity into business and into the world. And today I want to introduce my dear friend, Nicole Garmise, and
Hi.
she has a business called Five Wildlings Photography, and we've had some photos taken from her recently, but she has also a Facebook channel, and her photography, in my opinion, is just amazing. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today and how she got into what she does and have her tell her story a little bit. We know each other from our homeschool co-op. So she has some beautiful children, all different ages, and she'll tell you more about that. And I just love all of her children and their whole family. So Nicole, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. So let's start first with you just telling us a little bit about your business.
I'm a lifestyle photographer in the Myrtle Beach area. So I go all the way up to, I've done some business in North Carolina and then all the way down to Pawleys Island and everywhere in between. I focus on families. So from the start of your family as a couple, your engagement, maternity and newborn pictures, and then family pictures and milestones. So I like to grow with families. I like to start with them when they're couples and then see their families grow.
That's beautiful. And how long have you been doing this?
How many years have I been in business? I started in 2019, I think. I've always been the photographer, and honestly, I probably would have started a long time ago, but I am a perfectionist and I didn't think I was ready. And my husband kept pushing me and saying, "You should do it. You should do it. Just start." And then finally, I think around 2019 is when I started charging people for pictures and started an unofficial business.
And were you in the Myrtle Beach area then?
I was not. We were
Okay.
in New Jersey when I started, and then we were in North Carolina, and then we moved down here. So I've traveled my business through 3 states.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in photography and when that love blossomed for you.
I've always been the picture taker. Even as a kid, I would always take pictures. I loved looking at pictures. My mom took a lot of pictures, and we had tons of albums of our family events and things that, she captured. And I always loved looking at them. And then when I got older, I was the picture taker of my friend groups. I was always the one with the little Nikon camera, taking pictures. Everybody got pictures from me when we went out. So I've always loved photography. I don't think I thought of it as a business for a long time. Um, I don't, I wish I started sooner because it's definitely where I'm meant to be.
That's great. Yeah. And did you have anybody that you like in your family or anything that made you love photography, or was it just something you were kind of born with, would you say?
I have always been interested in taking pictures of people. It's just always been something I enjoy doing. I like capturing moments. I like saving those memories for people.
Right. Yeah. And when you were looking at those pictures of your family, is that what kind of gave you that idea to capture moments?
I think it started when I started having kids
Okay.
because I wanted those pictures of my kids. So I really started focusing on lighting and my position in relation to them. I've always been drawn to in the moment pictures. So I would never pose my kids per se, but I started noticing like, oh, if I go and shoot from this angle, it gives me better composition. I was sort of self-taught, especially in the beginning, because I just played. I just like to play around and try different things.
And how did you, when you were self-taught, did you read books or did you just use practice?
I just practiced. I
Okay.
just did it for fun. I did it because I enjoyed it. I played around with editing for a really long time. I started with my phone. That was the first place I started editing pictures of my kids. And then I discovered Lightroom and Photoshop on the computer. And I realized that I had much more control over things on the computer. So I switched over to the computer and I just played. I just really enjoyed doing it for the fun of it.
Sure. And did you ever take like old style of pictures with film and having to develop them, or
I
has it always been
did.
digital?
No, I did. I used to do film a long time ago
Okay, tell me
before
about.
digital cameras were a thing.
Well, that's what I'm much older than you, but I was thinking like when I was younger, it was all
Yeah.
about, developing pictures and tell me
Yeah,
a
I
little
never
about that.
developed them. I didn't develop them myself. And I wish I did. There was a class that I could have taken in high school, but I chose architecture instead. But I really would have enjoyed to take that class and learn how to do that because I think that that's a fascinating component of photography that a lot of people miss.
Sure. Yeah. And so when you started editing, it was always digital at that point. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's the only way you could do it. I guess there's some
There's still
painting.
film. There is
Uh-huh.
still film. There's still film cameras. There's still developing labs and people can do it themselves too. But I do know photographers that shoot film in addition to digital.
Right. Right. That's cool. Yeah, and was there other art, like parts of art that you were interested in, or has it always mostly just been photography?
I've always been creative. I think I just have a creative brain. Even as a kid, I like to draw. I like to do shading and realistic drawing. I was always making something, creating something. It's just part of who I am.
I love that. Yeah, so one of the things I notice about your photography is I feel like it really tells a story. Um, there's a lot of people who just take pictures of families and they're posed like you said and things like that, and it doesn't have a lot of emotion in it. And when I look at your photography, it's very filled with emotion. It feels like it's filled with love between, a husband and a wife. I noticed that you show the woman in a very feminine light, and then you show the man in a really masculine light, and then you sort of tell the story like it feels like a love story, and the family is that story. And is there any intention in that? Or I mean, it's just
Yes, and I love that you say that and that you notice that because that is the foundation of my work is I want to tell the family story. I want it to be their authentic moments and their authentic pictures. And I try really hard to learn the best that I can before sessions to get to know the families a little bit so that I can tell their story in a different way because every family is different. And I like to get those moments where they're really being themselves. So I appreciate that you said that. Thank you.
it really comes through. I mean, I just love when you post, you have a very vibrant Facebook channel. And so I really enjoy when you post things that you've done, and I can just look at those pictures, and it's just really wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the sessions that you've had that kind of stay in your mind. That is there anything that comes to mind that were
Just the
really.
ones where people are just being themselves. I mean, if I can just be a fly on the wall and just watch the moments unfold. I don't mind prompting and I will and I'll say, hey dad, why don't you go and, you know, tickle Sarah or something like that where I can start out with a prompt and then they can kind of take it themselves. But the ones that are like truly magical, it's just like the family's just being themselves and I don't have to direct anything and they're just interacting and they're doing their own unique things and maybe they have a special handshake they do or dad always does this specific thing with his daughter or the little boy loves to play with his mom's hair. I just love to capture those moments and that those are the ones that really stick with me is the meaningful little details that happen organically.
Right, because those might be things that you forget as the kids grow up, right? But
Yeah.
then when you see the picture, you're like, "Oh yeah, I remember when you were 7, you used to love to play with my hair," or those
Yeah.
are oh, that's wonderful. And do
And
you
that's my I'm
go
sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was just gonna say that's my why in my business is I want to capture those moments that you're gonna forget, or that this picture will take you back to that time and you'll remember, and you'll remember the smells and you'll remember the feelings and you'll remember how everything was during that time, and that's why I feel like pictures are so important.
Sure. And for your own family, do you do like albums or are you good at keeping that? And I know it's hard because
Laura,
you have
well,
a
Laura.
I know.
I'm like the plumber that has all the leaky pipes in his house. I have I have so many pictures of my kids that are unedited sitting on hard drive somewhere. And I keep saying that when my kids are old and grown that I'll have all this time on my hands and I'll be sad. So I'm going to spend all this time going through and editing these pictures and remembering these times because I don't have a lot of time to edit pictures.
Sure.
I have started using my own family for promotional pictures so that at least I have those pictures. And any pictures that I do edit, we have and I print and I'll hang them on the walls and we moved here 3 years ago, so I'm starting to print things that pictures that we've taken here and put them up on the walls for the kids. And I do yearbooks for the kids every year for Christmas. I'll take pictures of them that happened from last Christmas until whenever I print them, and I put them into an not like an old school album, but a digital yearbook. And the kids love them. They go through them all the time. They look at each other's. So that I do print them in there.
Oh, that's amazing. That I love that. So probably always looking forward to their Christmas gift, right?
They
To look at
do. They
their
do. I'm
pictures.
a little behind this year, but I'm trying. Hopefully
Yeah.
I'll get them all done.
Just do the best you can, right? That's the mom's I don't know. We just have to give ourselves a
Auto.
break. Yeah, the
Yeah.
mom yeah.
Mhm.
I couldn't find the word, so yeah. And also, I noticed like you have a certain style. Your photos tell me a little bit about it. They seem a little, I don't know if I want to say old fashioned, but they have this like timeless feeling to them. They don't feel like super modern. They feel more soft and tell me a little bit about that. If I'm right, I could be
I
wrong.
do I do try not to date the pictures. I when I am guiding people with styling, I try to get them to wear number one colors that edit well the way that my editing style is, but also that aren't going to date the pictures because I do like that timeless feel to pictures. Um, but I like romanticizing life.
Mhm.
Like that's what I do. Because life's hard enough as it is, and we all have our own struggles day to day and within our families and within our lives. And I feel like pictures are the one time you can kind of step away from life and just enjoy your family and just focus on your family for an hour and just be with your family without a to-do list, without stress of anything that's going on in your life. So that's what I try to bring to the images.
Yeah, and when you use that word romanticizing, that's really what I see in your photos. So that's perfect. That's a perfect word, and I didn't know
Yeah,
what word to use, but that is really, did you ever see that movie Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve?
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not a big movie person, so
okay.
I don't. My husband probably has seen it.
It's a really old movie, and it was taken at the Grand Hotel up in Mackinac Island in Michigan, and it's kind of a time warp sort of a thing, but it gives me that feeling of yeah. So I know that doesn't mean much as we're talking about it since you
No,
haven't seen the
it
movie.
does. It does, and that is what I'm going for when um I'm taking pictures. So I'm glad that that comes through.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. So, what are some of the challenges that you feel when you're, you know,
Everything except taking the pictures.
right? Yes.
I didn't realize how much went into it until I was doing it. I mean, that's probably anything, but there's a lot more. I spend an hour with families, and there's 8 to 10 plus hours behind the scenes that are just for that family. And then add on top of that, keeping up with marketing and emails and social media and communication, um, business management. That stuff is it's my challenge. I enjoy taking pretty pictures. I just want to take pictures. I don't
Right.
want to do the rest.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but it's important, I think, for people to realize, what all goes on behind the scenes because it is a big production, and sometimes we don't realize, what
Yeah,
each person is doing behind the scenes. That makes everything's, it's professionals always make it look effortless, I think. And so that is the definition of a professional. Like when you watch Michael Phelps swim, and it just looks like, but you don't see all the time that he spent,
right,
or any athlete or, basketball player when they're, in the zone, or a painter when they're, or a dancer when they're dancing. And
right.
yeah, so I think that's great that but yeah, it is a challenge too. I understand
It
that.
is. And it's even just it took me a long time to start my business because putting your art out there is vulnerable. So I had a really hard time because I would pour my heart and soul into like this isn't just a picture for me. This is my art. This is my vision. This is my creation. And putting that out there for the world to see is very nerve-wracking and makes you in a very vulnerable position. So it took me a really long time to feel comfortable. Even now, I don't like, especially when a session is very near and dear to me, I have a hard time sharing it because I kind of just want to keep it for myself because I don't want anybody to judge it.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, and that takes courage. It takes
Yeah.
courage to be vulnerable and to put your stuff out there. And I'm sure that there have been times where you've had to, like, I mean, there's always critics out there, right? That
And my art isn't for everyone. That's
sure.
why there's hundreds of photographers in this area. I mean, if you post on Facebook, you're going to get responses from over 100 people easy within the first 5 minutes.
Wow.
But I don't that there's a photographer for everyone and
Sure.
there's a style for everyone. So I don't, it never offends me when people don't book with me and work with me. I just know that they're not my clientele. They don't resonate with what I do, and that's okay. So I'm okay with that. I don't really know how to put into words. It's scary. It's just scary to share something that's such a piece of me, um, and let it be out in the world.
Yeah. that's really beautiful. And I know what I see with other people who put things out in the world. Like I've followed a lot of people who have YouTube channels and put that kind of thing in the world too. And I noticed that when they get negative comments, they it always kind of crushes them a little bit, and they can get like 99% positive comments, but it's always those negative comments. And it's interesting because I mean I think it's a place where we feel vulnerable, like you said, and it's like a button that we have, and it's I find it fascinating that there can be so many good comments, but the one negative one is what for some people really derails them or makes them feel
Right.
defensive. When, like you said, it's not for everyone, and there's always going to be those kinds of people, and sometimes people just like to poke, at people and get rile them
Yeah.
up too. And we
Yeah.
have to remember that.
The
No.
trolls exist.
Exactly.
They
They really
do.
do. And they just love to control people. And so it's just like, are you going to let that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've had my fair share of negative, I mean, hopefully less than more, but I've had my fair share of people that have worked with me and were unhappy in one way or another. But what it came down to was more that they were unhappy with themselves and they weren't comfortable. Um, because I'm thinking of one specific client that I had that she just she was just tore me down and was like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. And what it came down to is she didn't feel comfortable in her own body. Um, and that's something that she has to work through herself. And I had to I had to break that down and realize that myself because at first I was devastated and I almost quit quite a few times where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Um, but I worked through it and realized that number one, some people it's just that my photography isn't for them. I try to vet those people in the beginning though and have them like look at my portfolio and see other pictures that I've done. I'll try to give them pictures of the location that we're going to just so that they really do get an idea of what I do. But sometimes it happens where people are unhappy, but I do my best.
Yeah. Well, I can really relate to that because I'm one of those people who, when I see a picture of myself, I tend to judge the crap out of it.
Hmm.
And I have learned, to soften that for myself. But it is a total it's something that I deal with, and it's something that I need to heal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I'd rather be behind the camera than in front of it. I feel very awkward in front of the camera, and I'm sure that that's more people than not. But I think that that's also what helps me make people feel at ease because I know what it feels like to be uncomfortable in front of the camera. And I know that I do it because I still want those pictures. I want those pictures with my kids. I want those pictures with my husband. Like I want these memories, even if they're not, perfect, even if, I wish my hair were longer or I wish, I wasn't wearing that dress, whatever the reason is I'm picking apart the picture. I at least have it. And 20 years from now, I'll look back on it and be thankful that I have that picture. I'm not going to look at it and go, oh gosh, you should have lost 10 pounds. Like, I'm going to enjoy that I have that moment with my 4 year old at that exact time because he's not four anymore.
Right. Well, and that's what I've realized is that I see myself in such in real time. I see myself in such a um, I pick it apart, like you said,
Yeah,
judgmental space. But when I see it like 5 years later, I'm like, I can't believe that I was so judgmental of myself. I
me
actually
too.
look really good there.
Yes,
And
me too.
it's
And I try to remind people of that. I'm like, listen, I look at pictures of myself from 10 years ago that I hated then. And I'm like, oh gosh, I love this picture now.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
amazing how the mind can just play games on us. And it's all about, which is what I teach a lot is, about self-love and just giving yourself a break, and that it's also okay to feel uncomfortable when you look at pictures of yourself and notice that
Right,
you're judgmental and things like that, and just let that all be okay. But that, like you said, it's, you know, our children, if we could look through their eyes, all they see is, mom that they love, and that picture of you with your 4-year old is just a reflection of, him seeing you as, his mom and his love.
right,
And yeah, and
right.
that,
And you,
like you
you get
said.
to be in the pictures because I know a lot of moms are usually the ones taking the pictures. So that's also one of the reasons that I do what I do. And I let moms know, like, you deserve to be in the pictures. You deserve to be a part of these memories, not just the one that's taking them. Because I know I ask my husband all the time to take pictures, and there's very few pictures. Or there are pictures that, like, are in a not so flattering angle, or the lighting is like you can barely see our faces. You know what I mean? So I think that
Sure.
taking the time, and I know it's a lot to take family pictures. I try to make it as easy as possible, but when you're preparing and getting everyone styled and putting together outfits, and then you're getting everyone ready the day of and making sure everybody's there, and the baby's not cranky, and whatever obstacles you have, like, there's a lot of them. And then, but it's worth it. It's worth
Yes.
it to go and do it so that you can be in these pictures and you can be in these memories, and your kids aren't going to be like, "Oh, mom took that picture." They're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, look at mom. I remember when she used to hug me like that, or when she used to hold me like that, or when we used to do, I always love when they do like the little Eskimo kisses,
Oh,
cuz like
yeah.
that's something I do with my kids, and I think it's a beautiful memory to have if that's something that you do with your family.
Right. Yeah, that's so amazing because I do think of, everybody, trying to get everybody ready and keep the clothes clean and
Yeah.
keep, and all of
Yeah.
that. It can be such a challenge, but I mean, we do that every day when we're trying to get kids to school. People are trying to get kids to
Entrepreneur.
school, and
Yeah.
the things that are like we're demanded to do, but when it's something that we elect to do, it's like we question that, but when we have it, it's something that can never be taken away, and it's so
Yeah.
precious. So I love that. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey through photography?
I don't know.
What do your kids think about mom being a photographer?
Um, I think that they have photographer child syndrome. I think they all are over getting their pictures taken. My oldest is probably the most willing. That's not true. I do have a few kids that are willing, but I don't ask them to take pictures very often. And if I do take pictures of them, it's very in the moment. They're wearing whatever they're wearing. I don't worry about them being, they're more documentary style than lifestyle.
Sure.
Lifestyle is kind of slightly curated but more natural. So the curated part is like you're wearing a dress to the beach. Like that's not something you would normally do, but the interactions that you have are all authentic and organic and natural. Documentary is more very in the moment. I'm not going to move the trash can that's behind you. I'm not going to you're wearing a bright neon, Nike shirt, and I'm not going to make you change. That this is exactly the way you are exactly at this moment. And I do a lot of that with my kids, so they don't mind that as much. They mind when I make them all dress up and go to a
Right.
specific location and like play games like with each other. They're like, "Oh, we have to do this again, mom."
Right. Yeah. What about like the fact that mom's an entrepreneur? What do you think they think about that?
I think that our entire family has entrepreneurial spirits. My kids are always trying to make money. They're always trying to find different ways to create businesses, to sell things, to make things, to sell their skills. which I think is really cool. But as far as me working, it's hard because I work a lot and my little kids don't really understand and they'll say things like, "Mom, you're always working," and it makes me feel so guilty. But I think that hopefully it gives them confidence that when they get older that they can try something and they can start their own business if they have an idea that they think that they can that they enjoy doing and they want to pursue, that they can say, "Hey, mom did it, like let me try this." I'm hoping that it shows my kids that like you can do both, that you can be a mom and work um if you want to.
Sure.
um I don't know. I think that I hope that that's the message that they get.
Yeah. Well, I love that you're saying that they're already entrepreneurial at their young ages. So,
Yes, and they've been. I mean, my oldest is 17, and I think she was like 4 or 5 when she did her first yard sale, where she just put a random assortment of her clothes and her toys out on a blanket, and I think she tried to sell everything for 25 cents a piece. But they've done lemonade stands, they've made bracelets, they've done baked goods. My one of my sons does perler beads, so he'll make perler bead creations. My oldest daughter is super creative. Um, she makes beautiful earrings. She makes amazing drawings and paintings. And she's starting to sell her earrings. And I always say to her, I'm like, you just have such like beautiful stuff that you could share it with the world. And she picks, and sometimes she does things just to enjoy it. And I told her that's good too. I said, don't
mhm,
lose that because it is hard turning something into a business and still finding the joy in it. Because when it gets tough, it sometimes takes the joy out of it.
sure.
So I was like, if you enjoy doing this just to do it, it doesn't need to make a profit, but they are all always looking to make money.
I love it. I know. I remember when we were camping one time and the kids were all coming around like telling us they would take our
Mhm.
garbage,
Yep.
and I just
And
love that.
that was his idea. That was not my idea. That nobody put that. He just thought, he's like, there's a need. I have a service. I will provide it.
I love it. Yep. So yeah, circling the whole campsite with his bike and taking things to the garbage. It was so nice because when you're camping, if you leave your garbage out, then the animals can get it. So what a
Yeah.
brilliant idea. That just makes my heart sing. Anything
Yeah.
like that. It's such a when I was a kid, we never thought of things like that. We were always just, and at least in my family and things, I felt like just in a box that I would have never thought of those kinds of things. Maybe a lemonade stand, but only because it was a common thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. They're not afraid of hard work, which is good.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Good parenting. Yeah. Well, good. Well, tell me a little bit about like how if somebody wants to
Mhm.
book with you, how they would do that. And also, I think you have some mini sessions or something, right? Tell me a little about that as well.
I do. We're mostly through all of the mini sessions. I have one date left on November 22nd at Vereen Gardens in Little River. I think there's a few spots left for that mini session event, and then that's it for the rest of the year. But if you're looking for more information, I do have my Instagram, my Facebook, and my website all have links and directives to get you to the booking website. And then you can fill out information on there on what type of session you're looking for, what dates you're looking for, any information you want to give me, and then I can get you more information from there.
Great. And the mini sessions, how do those differ from a regular session?
They're smaller sessions. These particular ones are 10 minutes. And it's basically for if you just need a few photos, you want an update for your holiday cards, or um, your kids are better in short sessions. If you don't have a lot of time, if you I mean, there's a lot of reasons people do
Sure.
they choose a mini session versus a full session. It is less expensive for you because I'm doing them back to back. I'm able to offer them at a lower price point. That gives people that may not necessarily want to spend the money on a full session the opportunity to still get pictures done.
Right. Right. Great. And then I know one of the things you have is um, the client closet. Is that available for everybody?
Not for mini sessions, just due to the nature of them. They're back to back.
Sure.
So I haven't I there are photographers that offer them for mini sessions. I haven't really figured out a way that works best to make that available for everyone and still allow you to be ready for your session time.
Right.
So it's not available for the mini sessions, but I still do offer styling services to everybody. I'll send you a styling guide, which is very in depth, has lots of visuals so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about textures and colors. Um, and I will answer any questions. I really do enjoy doing it. So if people want to send me pictures of what they're thinking about ordering or what they have in their closet, I will help them curate outfits for everyone.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, those are such nice services because I've not really come across those kind of services when I've done. I mean, usually I would get suggestions on colors or things that make it
Right.
look good, but it not like visually really getting to see.
I just think it's important because if I like being able to offer it because the dresses that I do have are expensive and I personally can't justify spending that much money on a dress for one session,
Sure.
for family pictures. So I like that I can have those dresses and offer them to you so that you can feel special and beautiful and you can wear something that, you might not, and that doesn't appeal to everyone, but if you want to feel special and dress up in a dress that you might not wear every day, you have the opportunity to do it. And I intentionally buy things that have good textures and look good on many different body types so that they're a little bit more flexible. And that a woman can feel confident wearing anything that I have in my client closet and not have to worry about fixing it or it's slipping or anything like that.
Right. And just as you're talking, it just, it's really dawned on me how, you being a mom and having the experience of being a mom and you're really catering to the mom in your
I
in
do.
your work.
I do. Moms
You-
are always my first. You get styled first. We pick your outfit first because mom should look her best and feel her best because this is for you. I mean, there's times that I think honestly, I think in the years I've been doing this, there's a handful of dads that have been the ones that have initiated pictures, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them were for their wives. Um, these are for mom. These pictures are
Right.
for mom. They're for the kids too, but they're for the kid and for dad, but they're for mom. Mom wants these pictures. I think mom should be the shining star in the pictures because mom does a lot for the family that goes unnoticed. And I think it's important for her to be seen and to be shown how much she's appreciated.
Hmm. That's beautiful. That is really, really special. And I didn't realize that, but as we've been talking, it's become more and more clear.
Yeah.
And that, what a gift. What a gift to mom. Because like you said, moms don't get the appreciation sometimes that they deserve in a lot of things. It feels like go unnoticed,
Hmm.
and that's just really it's really amazing that you spend so much time and effort, focused on that because that's beautiful. And now as I look at your photos, I see that more and more. So
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
really sweet.
moms are pretty special.
Oh,
Dads are special too, and
oh
dad
yeah.
gets his own time. Like I always make sure I get pictures of dads individually with the kids and with his wife individually and then with the whole family. But I feel like moms are the ones that really appreciate it, and I think that it's beautiful to show them what they look like, you know, to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just how special they are to their family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Nicole, for being here. It's just been a pleasure to talk to you and to hear more about your business. I'll put all the links. We didn't. I know I mentioned the name of your business, Five Wildlings. I'm
hmm
curious how you came up with that name.
I was, this is a long story, but I can keep it short. I was pregnant at the time and I was trying to come up with, I had started my business already, but I didn't really have a name. I don't even remember what I started with. It might have just been my, my name. Um, but I wanted something that represented my kids, but not necessarily in a very blatant way. And I always called my kids wildlings because my kids are very, um, they're kids. They're very natural, natural
Pas-
kids.
Passionate.
Um, Passionate. They're wild. They're wildlings. That's their free spirits. Um, they're unique, and so I wanted to tie that in. So I named my business. I did have children after that, so I could have changed my business name, but I decided to just keep it that because it gets confusing when you're known as one thing and then you change, even if you change one little thing, people get confused. So I am just forever Five Wildlings until I decide to change it.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah, that represents, and I love the word, the free spirits. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Beautiful. Great. All right. Well, thank you again. And again, I'll put all your information and links below. So anybody who wants to contact you can contact you. Okay.
perfect. Thank you so much, Laura. I appreciate it.
You bet.